Play-Doh and Lego. Two classic kids' toys, yeah? I've come to think of them as like operating systems. They're kind of two different basic kinds of people. You got your people who are more Play-Doh. It's, free and expressive, and there are no rules. You can make of it what you will. Doesn't come with a set of instructions. Your imagination, right? Curves and, odd, interesting things that don't have to exist in the world. You can come up with, you can totally be inventive, yeah? But Legos, right? Legos like building blocks that can fit together into a system, and you give instructions, and if you know how to build this and you have instructions for it, you can give those instructions to someone else and they can build it. And then you can kind of add this building onto that building, and they all just kind of snap together, and things just kind of get bigger and bigger and bigger. You can reproduce it. They're very, very different ways of playing as humans, different ways of interacting with the world, of creating and building things, right? It's a lot like our brains. You've got the left hemisphere and you've got the right hemisphere. The right hemisphere, they kind of have, what do we call them, cross control. So the right hemisphere controls the left side of your body. Left-handedness is often, considered part of our creative. The left brain, the right brain is more creative. It's more emotional. It's more impulsive. But then we have the left side of our brain, which controls our right hand, right? It's rational, logical, non-emotive, right? The two, one is not better than the other. You need some balance of these things to be fully human. If you're completely rational, completely Lego, you miss all the color in life. You miss improvisation. You're following everything by the rules. You're living everything by the rules. Meanwhile, if you're too dominated by the Play-Doh nature, too much emotion, too much freedom, no discipline, no way to build a system that can replicate and grow. They're all kind of one-off creations, right? I mean, if you make this fabulous Play-Doh creation and I go, wow, that's amazing. I'd like to sell those in my store. Can you make me 100? And you're like, oh, shit. That's going to take a while. And they're not going to be exactly alike. It's art. Yeah. But if you make me a Lego thing, I can create 1 million of them using the same parts, snap together in the same way. I can make 1 million of them. Very different. But that's the world, these two different ways of being. There's the woman way of being in the world. There's the man's way of being in the world. There's the artist way of being in the world. There's the CEO's way of being in the world. There's the white way of being in the world, and there's the black way of being in the world. And on balance, most black people tend to be more Play-Doh. And on balance, white culture is more of a Lego culture. In Winter is Coming, I talked about cultural phenotypes and how cultures emerge out of the environments in which they are influenced by. And that sub-equatorial, particularly sub-Saharan African climate, geography, the flora and fauna, the environment in which the original humans evolved was a very different environment than with the environment in northern latitudes where you had winter that produces a very different effect on humans. It makes humans have to learn how to do different adaptations. It creates a different kind of culture, a different kind of cultural phenotype. This northern, more rational, more forward-thinking, more planning, provisioning, very necessary to survive and thrive in that kind of climate. In the warmer climates, there weren't these environmental pressures. You could be more improvisational. You could kind of make it up as you go along a little bit more. There was more, life had more curves. If you didn't follow the rules exactly, well, the penalty wasn't as great as if you didn't follow the rules pretty faithfully in the winter, as winter was approaching. If you didn't follow the rules to prepare for winter, there was a very severe penalty. Severe. So these cultures, the Play-Doh culture and the Lego culture, emerged, I think, out of these kind of cultural phenotypes, these characteristics. I personally happen to be more of a Play-Doh person. I'm creative. I'm improvisational. I'm emotive. But I got to a certain point in my life where I recognized that being all about the Play-Doh was a limiting MO, modus operandi, a limiting way to move through the world as a professional creative. And I had to add Lego into my game. I had to understand that there was this division. There were these different ways of being. And once I got it, then it started to make sense. The world, seeing the world as it is, it's pretty clear that the dominant operating system, if you look at this as a Lego operating system and a Play-Doh operating system, it's clear that the dominant operating system is the Lego system. The entire world is set up on this kind of Lego grid. We talk about the power grid. It is, in fact, a grid. Look at spreadsheets. They are a grid. If you zoom out and look at a city from 10,000 feet, you see the blocks and the neighborhoods and everything, most of them, except for Atlanta. But most major cities are set up like a grid. Very Lego-like. The buildings are made up of like Legos. The streets are built out of, the infrastructure is very Lego. The plumbing, the sewage, the water pipes, all of that is very constructed, very systematic, scalable, reproducible. It follows rules. It has regulations. Very, very Lego. If you zoom into a silicon chip, it looks a lot like a city looks at 10,000 feet. This very, very small thing is set up on a grid. It is very Lego-like. Open up your computer. It all snaps together. This is all science is built on Lego concepts. Law is built on Lego concepts. Capitalism, business is very Lego. If you don't understand that that is the world we are operating in, and you just want to live in the Play-Doh world, then you are going to limit yourself. And you are not going to thrive in this Lego reality. Thank God there is a place for Play-Doh people in this world. We are the designers, we are innovators, we are the visionaries, we are the dreamers. We are absolutely necessary ingredients, like women are necessary to men, like night is necessary to day, like left is necessary to right. Play-Doh is necessary Like we are like the liberals to the conservatives, both absolutely necessary. You talked before about liberals being like cultural accelerators and conservatives being cultural brakes on this society's bus that we all are riding on. We have to have them both. We have to have Play-Doh people. In the black culture, where the Play-Doh nature is expressed most visibly among all cultures, there is enormous value and enormous influence that comes along with this aesthetic, this way of being that black people have. The ability to bend and twist and turn the Lego world in novel and interesting and attention-grabbing ways is a gift. Mashing things together, hip-hop was a mashup of various Lego kinds of things, various Lego kinds of institutions, electronics, right? Various styles of genres, poetry, music, sometimes rock, all kinds of samples from all kinds of different genres, all mashed up together, and then brought to market in a Lego capitalist vehicle. Printing all the CDs, that's very Lego. Putting them in boxes and putting them in jewel cases and putting 100 jewel cases in a box and putting 100 boxes on a truck, right? And then distribute it. This is very Lego, very modular. But the Lego is serving up this creative Play-Doh conceived product. Play-Doh thinkers are the ones that come up with the art of the world, the music, the poetry, the films, the music. But what I came to understand, and what I think black people need to understand in particular, now, mind you, I have lots of very sophisticated black friends who are world-class business people. I'm not talking to them. I learn stuff from them. I sit at their knees. I'm talking to the folks who are just feel like stuck. And why I'm so fly and I'm so cool and I'm so creative, why doesn't the world reward that? Well, the world will reward it if you add some Lego to your game. You need to either acquire some Lego mentality and learn about how systems work, how things snap together, how that's necessary to be successful in business. You need to learn some math because Lego is very mathematic. If you don't understand math, you're going to really struggle to understand the geometry and the physics of how some of these processes work. It's very mathematically derived. It's angular. It's geometric. It is what it is. I'm just telling you. If you don't like that, well, then you either have to acquire that skill for yourself, or you need to partner, and that's what I ultimately did. You need to partner with someone who possesses that kind of Lego mentality that helps you win with your creativity in ways that your creativity alone won't. In my business, at the point that I began hiring people, Lego-brained people who really were as good at organizing and timekeeping and managing as I was at being creative and being innovative and being expressive and original. When I partnered my strength with their strength, things changed. I was able to scale. A project manager was the big breakthrough for me. Project managers and adding, people who dealt with money who had, again, the same kind of fluency and skill at that as I did at my thing. Accountants and lawyers and strategists and people who just owned that left side of the brain that complemented my right side. And then you just pay attention to what they do. First of all, value what they do. At the point that I said, oh my God, you mean if I have all the stress, all this anxiety that I'm going to make a mistake, I'm going to miss a deadline, I haven't set up the logistics, organize the plan well enough, and that makes me nervous. At the point that I said, there are people who specialize in that, who are really good at that. Let me hire them. At the point that I hired them, I was liberated to, focus on what I did best, because I knew that they were going to take care of that stuff that I didn't do best. And I observed them, and I learned how they did it. And I kind of, absorbed by osmosis that value system and that Lego mentality. And I saw how things snapped together. And I saw how you could scale things. And it changed my whole view of myself. And I really began to be so appreciative of Lego kind of people. Thank God. Look at this world. Imagine it without all the Lego stuff. Imagine only just if creative people were the only people in control of the world. I promise you that would not be the best world. You don't want black people controlling the whole world, organizing and managing the whole world. No. You don't want white people either. We need both of us. We need the Asians. We need the Latinos. We need all of our gifts combining in an appropriate measure. It's a wonderful thing to be Play-Doh. It's an even better thing to be a Play-Doh person with Lego game. Yeah, and vice versa. It's a wonderful thing to be a Lego kind of person. I love you. Thank God for you. Thank God for the people who keep things running, who keep us safe, who invent medicines and make things accurate and precise and predictable, keep schedules running on time, keep our food safe. Thank God for all that. Thank God for all the scientists who do so much good work that has made our lives longer and better. Thank God, all you Lego folks. I appreciate that. And at the point that I really embraced that gratitude for them, I wanted to work with them more. And I got out of this mentality of, I only want to be around creative people. And no, man, that you can do that. But it's so limiting. And the Lego world is so enriching to my ability to move successfully through the world. So this is a human condition, but, again, as it relates to black folks, I think that the best compliment, so far it's been the most successful thing, is when black people team up with white people to help market their creativity. And I think that part of what makes those partnerships better is when black people educate themselves about the Lego reality of this world, so that when you partner up with white people, you kind of understand the general framework, the Lego framework. Oh, I dig, man. Yeah, I see how it all fits together. I see how it's necessary, how banking and currency and all of these right angles and all of these bricks that make up this very complex wall are necessary. I see it. I'm not perfectly fluent in it, but I understand the basic concepts enough. I understand the basic math enough that I can keep you honest, partner. And I can, not only because you might want to do something that's a little funky, but because sometimes people make mistakes and you can go, yo, you didn't carry the one over on that equation. That meant some money out of my pocket. So let's straighten that out. Just because you had some Lego game, you were able to catch the error. You don't have to be perfectly Lego. You could still be completely, you can be all about Play-Doh, but you got to have some Lego awareness, some Lego intelligence when you partner up with people so that the trust is earned because you understand why they're doing their job well. And you go, all right, I respect that game. I respect your game. It'll make you respect your own game more as well. So, operating systems, Lego versus Play-Doh. Lego people, add some creativity to your life. Add some looseness to it. Every once in a while, take the instructions that came with your kit and burn them. And just make something up. Go all Play-Doh on your Lego set. Make something up. Invent something that's never been made before. Loosen up. Relax. That's what you can do. Yeah? We both need to play in each other's sandbox. It makes us more effective. It makes us more appreciative of the other kind of people's gifts and how we work together to create this really wonderful, never before kind of human existence. We are the envy of all the humans who have ever come before us in terms of the dreams that we're able to fulfill in our lives and that they could have never imagined. All right. Peace.